on the channel, it's March 4th, 2023, AEW Revolution Weekend, and we got some new action figure reveals.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another AEW wrestling figure reveal video. As today on the channel, it is AEW Revolution pay-per-view weekend, and with that comes some new action figure reveals in the Supreme line, the Unrivaled, the Unmatched, and of course, the Blood and the Guts. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about here today. But let's spin it back to Friday as our friends at Ringside Collectibles use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. They did announce some new stuff up for pre-order, and one of them was one a lot of fans have been wanting to see, hoping to see. That is the Blood and Guts 2-pack with CM Punk, yes, CM Punk, and MJF, of course, from their dog collar pay-per-view match back in the day. A bloody affair, as we know, and one that's just fitting for the Blood and Guts exclusive set. One of my favorite exclusive sets that there's ever been. I love the idea. I'm an old school wrestling fan. I love the Blood and the Guts, and this hits home for me. Of course, big CM Punk fan for a lot of years. Say what you want about the guy, but it was a great match. Then, of course, MJF, the current champion in AEW, as we do know. A lot of blood in that one, a little bit more so on the CM Punk side, but we got some digital renders of what we're going to see here in this pack, and I have to imagine the packaging will be similar to the Omega Moxley or maybe the Dustin and Cody Rhodes 2-pack. I have to think it'll be somewhere along those lines. We'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll have more pictures in the coming weeks and months, channel and of course at Ringside and their social media, but looking really, really good. The CM Punk head with all the blood running down, that is the moneymaker head there. I think that head looks awesome. Can't wait to get this in hand. CM Punk, or I should say MJF, looks a little interesting. Of course, the green tights, definitely a different color that we're not really accustomed to with MJF. We don't think of him in the green, I guess, first off, so it feels a little bit special there. The head sculpt, I gotta say, looks a lot like Colt Cabana. That was the first thing I thought of, so maybe it's the long-awaited feud, the feud that's been dragging on for years, Colt Cabana versus CM Punk in the Blood and Guts. I don't know, you could do that at your house if you wanted to, I guess, but very, very cool looking set. You gotta think this is going to be one of the best sellers on Ringside for 2023. I think there's no doubt in my mind. Have to think this is going to be on a lot of top 10 lists, and we're still early. We're still in the digital render phase here, but a very highly anticipated, much anticipated set here coming down the pike real soon, so stay tuned for more on that one. I do love the dog collars. I forgot to mention that. It's got the chain and the dog collars here. Another nice touch. We did get that with the Legends of Lucha Libre last year. What is time? We're getting an AEW Jazwares version here, so that'll be really, really cool. But then that wasn't it. Ringside did put up for pre-order AEW Unrivaled Series 12. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%, but we're getting the debut, first time in the line, AEW Women's Champion Jamie Hayter. Of course, Jamie Hayter all over TV these days with a big match on the pay-per-view this very weekend. First time in the line, we'll be able to put her with Britt Baker on your shelf finally, so we do have that. We also got Private Party coming to the line. These guys have been around since the inception of AEW, so good to see guys that have been around a long time finally getting figures here. Looks like we're getting some soft goods with them. Mismatched uniform in the black and the white pants between the two. Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, very, very cool. Very happy to get tag teams in the same set, as I always do say. Always prefer that. I hate it when they put them in different sets. Put them in there, let's get it done. And that's exactly what they did. And they weren't done with tag teams, as we have the return of FTR in the Jazwares lines. We've had a mixed bag in the last two ones. Really hoping this one really seals the deals and brings us home with a little tag team FTR action, as they really do deserve really good figures. Of course, I am a big fan of them, as you guys know, so happy to see them and another tag team in the same line in Unrivaled 12. That works for me. And then no stranger to any toy line, be it Mattel or Jazwares. We're getting Jon Moxley. Soft good shirt, Jon Moxley. You say what you want about Moxley. I don't really need another figure of him right now, but you have to put those heavy hitters out there on a consistent basis for the kids. Got to think of the kids, as we do know there. So that's Unrivaled Series 12 and the Blood and Guts 2-pack. Those are up for pre-order right now. Don't waste any time. Get those over at Ringside and use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%, like I always do say. Then we go to the Twitch stream, and it was interesting they did this live on a Twitch stream. I like the idea of it being live because other reveals from the pay-per-views, things like that, we were always kind of people were there taking pictures, stuff like that. It was all through. So this is a nice live stream. I like the idea of this. Very Mattel-like doing it. They just need to kind of up the quality a little bit, I felt, on this one. It was just the guys. It was Brody King. It was Danhausen. It was Mark Sterling. It was Evil in Uno sitting there around a table, you know, bumping the table every once in a while. But it was a Twitch stream, which better than nothing, but I would have loved to seen a little bit better camera work there. Maybe a stationary camera that would be right on the figures that we could have saw that, because a lot of times the figures are out of focus or out of frame. So it is what it is. But I did grab some screen grabs from the Twitch stream, some stuff to talk about here. They did show Supreme Series 3. I believe that's Series 3, isn't it? Ray Phoenix and Penta. Good to get these guys in the line again. I don't know. I guess your mileage may vary on that. Very toyetic. Everybody loves tattoos, colorful wrestlers, and everybody loves a masked wrestler. But we're getting both these guys in the Supreme line. It is cool, but boy, I'm Penta and Phoenix out. Some of these guys in the AEW lines, it seems like we get on a repeated basis. We're even going to talk about these guys here later on in this video. So no stranger to the toy line. I guess it's fitting they did get a Supreme figure. And I guess if you think of some of the top acts in AEW, Phoenix, Penta, they're going to be in the talking points of that as the top acts in the AEW company, especially in the tag team department. So I guess it makes sense for them to get Supreme. I just wish we could space these guys out a little bit more. But it is what it is. Just like John Moxley, I guess, same kind of thing there. But very cool to get these guys the different looks, the Supremes. We'll see. Those should be here sooner rather than later, I would say. But then we carried on. They did talk a little bit about Unmatched Series 6. Now, some of these didn't really do a whole lot for us because we already knew about Unmatched Series 6. We just saw the pretty promotional images from Ringside. My gut tells me sometime in the next month or so, we probably have these on our doorstep via Ringside Collectibles. But, of course, Unmatched number 6 is Brody Lee in that classic red suit. We are getting another Owen Hart. A lot of paint by numbers repaints there. Instead of the blue, we're getting the red. Kind of is what it is. We are getting Proud and Powerful. You guys know me. I'm a sucker for face paint. I'm a sucker for getting a tag team in the same set. So we're getting Santana and Ortiz once again there. We're getting Malachi Black. He can never have enough Malachi Blacks. Take what I said about some of these guys being overkill. Malachi Black, almost to an Ultimate Warrior level. I'll take all the Malachi Blacks you can give me. So I'm happy to see that one there. And then Ruby Soho, a good one. A new female, 2 heads. Very fitting. But we've talked about all this stuff on the channel before. So we knew all these guys were coming here. But then we did turn our attention to Unmatched Series 7, and they actually had in-package samples. So once again, that leads me to believe that some of these are going to be in our hands maybe sooner than later because they opened them right there at the table. And they had Thunder Rosa, no stranger to the line once again, but she's got her Michael Sweet Striper-inspired gear going on. She loves herself some Striper, but she does have that. Of course, you got that flag, that Mexico/USA flag that we get with a lot of her figures. That is coming with the figure as well. Very, very cool, very colorful one. You guys know face paint, it sells, and especially a black and yellow jumpsuit as well will go good for her. So Thunder Rosa returns to the line. Then we get Pac, of course, Death Triangle being represented here. And I love that they said we're getting 3 heads with this one. We're getting the full-on blindfold. We're getting a regular plain Jane head, and then we're getting an eye patch head. So choose your own Pac head adventure there. That is pretty cool. And then the Death Triangle, this continues on. Ray Phoenix, and we're getting a soft goods jacket. And from what they showed on the Twitch stream of what you could tell, this looked like a very good fitting soft good jacket. I like the shine on it. They explained a little bit about it, but a very, very cool looking jacket. They did talk in the stream about that was the night Ray Phoenix broke his arm on that gruesome injury that was on TV. So it's kind of like one of those things. I don't think he's going to like that figure too much in figure form. I'm going to give him some PTSD probably. But we're getting Ray Phoenix once again. And then Penta and the red and black attack. Of course, both of them going to come with their tag team belts. And apparently it was the night they lost the tag team title belts is what they said as well. So a little yin and yang in that figure there, probably for their thought process. But the main event of that one, and a little bit of surprise left in Unmatched Series 7, Hook. Of course, everybody wants a Hook figure. Hook Mania running wild. We all know how that's going. But we're getting 2 heads and quite the tan on old Hook. It looked like a really, really good figure. And I have to think these are actual retail versions here. They unpacked that right there on the channel. They did an unboxing. So this looks like the actual figures we're going to get. I got to say, they looked pretty good. So we'll see what happens when they hit the table. We'll get the final judgment on them. But I'm looking forward to some new AEW figures. It feels like it's been a while since we've had a traditional line. We've had a lot of 2-packs, exclusive packs, things like that. But the Unmatched, Unrivaled, it feels like it's been a while here on the channel. At least to me it does. And then the one, a lot of people are like, are we getting it? Are we not getting it? Is it coming? Is it not? Well, we are. We're getting the LJN CM Punk figure. It's your LJN style figure, of course, the big old giant head, but good tattoos. And as far as the LJN style figures, I thought it looked okay, at least from what they showed on the Twitch stream. Can't wait to get that in my collection. We'll see what happens, and we'll, of course, compare that to the other LJNs in the line, and we'll compare it to a traditional LJN when we do get that at the table. So Unmatched Series 7 looking really good from where I sit, and as you guys know, right here at this table. But they weren't done there. They went on to Unmatched Series 13, or I should say Unrivaled Series 13 was the next one they showed. This one was a little bit tough. It was stuff we already know. We saw the digital renders for it, but they brought out some grayscale prototypes. So you couldn't really tell the details on the camera and stuff, but you could see the form of the figure, things like that. And they did show Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. All three of them were shown. First time in the line figures. Very excited. Once again, fits all my buckets there of getting the teams together in the same one, in the same wave. I'm here for that all day long. So very cool to see that. Abaddon they showed. You really couldn't show anything with Abaddon. Talk about toyetic, talk about crazy, talk about a zombie-looking creature is what she looks like. Just very cool to get Abaddon in the line, but hopefully it'll meet all of our expectations. So I think there's a lot of expectations on this figure to look absolutely insane, and I hope they come through with it. But you couldn't really tell a whole lot from the grayscale prototype on that one. We also saw Soup Malachi Black. Makes a lot of sense. They even made mention he's in his suit more than his wrestling gear, and I've kind of said that and thought that in my head for quite some time. But he is on TV in the suit all the time, so it makes a lot of sense to get a suited version of him. Hey, you got to get these guys out on different clips, and I always love the difference between ring gear and suited figures. It's cool to have that dynamic, so we'll have that with Malachi Black. And then Buddy Murphy, first time in the line. Once again, good to get him in here. Gonna have the horned helmeted head as well, and the traditional head. Would be great to compare him to his Mattel Elite he got way back in the day as well. So another first timer in the line. But then they did bring out, finally, kind of the main event of the stream here. They did bring out Brody King hand-painted prototype. Of course, Brody King was sitting right there, so we got first eyes on his figure, and he seemed to be pretty pleased. Obviously, the hand-painted prototypes always look really, really nice. Sometimes they get dumbed down a little bit. Sometimes they get cleaned up a little bit. We'll see how Brody comes through, but they were making mention once again, too, about all the tattoos on him. He's got to be the most toyetic, tattooed wrestler of all time, so really high hopes for that figure. Can't wait to get that one in hand. And then the true main event, possibly the biggest seller AEW Jazwares line will probably ever have, is Danhausen. We know Danhausen is moving the merchandise like a madman. You know they're going to make so many different versions of Danhausen. I would not be shocked by the end of this year if they don't announce a Supreme Danhausen. We're going to get him in Unmatched. We're going to get him in Unrivaled. We'll get exclusive Danhausens, I'm sure, and we'll probably get a Supreme one as well. The guy is printing money right now. I think he's the #1 seller at Pro Wrestling Tees. He just kind of walks that line, and he barely even wrestles, it really seems like, but good for him. He is toyetic, has a good personality, has connected with the audience, and when that all happens, when those stars align, the money gets doled out, and that's what we're getting here with this first version of Danhausen, and they did it very smart. We've talked about this on the channel before. A lot of people saying, why can't I get wrestling gear Danhausen first? Well, they want you to buy the first Danhausen. They will get to that because they know you're going to buy that one too. So many people are going to buy the suited, we'll call it suited Danhausen, and that's what we were shown here. People are going to buy that because it's the first Danhausen. I need Danhausen, I'm going to get it. And then they're waiting, and it's giving Jazwares more time to get all the tattoo details right, everything else, because there's going to be a second, third, and a fourth version. But I think it's a smart business move by Jazwares team to release the suited version of Danhausen first. So there you go. That's an interesting one right there, and I think it's going to be probably the most popular Jazwares figure of all time. I'm betting the house right now. So there it is. That was the whole build-up, the whole show. Not a ton of stuff revealed. I was wondering if we would get a fan exclusive, a Chase figure. They've done that at most of these pay-per-views. I guess there's still time to announce that. I said on, I think it was Toy News of the Week this week, maybe Powerhouse Hobbs, a simple repaint for him. He'll be the Chase figure for this. I guess we'll have to stay tuned to Pro Wrestling Tees, social media, stuff like that. See if there was an actual figure released this weekend, as they've done it pretty much every pay-per-view for the last year. We'd have to think we'll get one here, but you never know. They might have passed on this one. I guess we'll stay tuned for that, and if we do have more notification on that, we'll talk about it in the Toy News next week. So there it is, the AEW Revolution Reveals video. Not a ton of news, but a little bit of nuggets here and there. Any thoughts from you guys? What is a must-have for you? What's an easy pass for you? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far, you might as well like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell. As you guys know, we got videos every single day, and then some, and got even more content for you on the Patreon, your best way to support the channel and all the content. And then don't forget about ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson, and you can hit me up and follow along over on social media, SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for a little AEW Jazwares reveals, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.